What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Big shout out to my doggy, Oliver Sam, for coming through and boosting up the coin. So, we got the leaked Usyk versus Tyson Fury 2 face-off, sit down. I'm going to spend some time on this. We're going to essentially watch it all, I think. That's my plan. That's what I'm fixing to do. Here we go. Let's get to it. I've got nothing else to say. I'm out of bars.
It was unbelievable. It was a great experience to be in there, and it was a lot of fun.
What about you, Alexander? Did you have fun in the ring?
When I come to the ring, I live there. Tyson too, I think. But when we fighters go to ring, more life.
That's when you come to life.
Preparation, training,
Boxing.
just fight.
And his first part, we've heard Fury waffling on about, I was having fun in there. You was not having fun in there. He was not. I'd argue, for example, Fury versus Dillian White. To a larger extent, you can say he was having fun in there. Not because of the results, but he just had nothing to worry about. There's nothing coming at him. Dillian White's feet are too slow. And Fury was just essentially lining him up for the babash. That's what he was doing the whole night, essentially. Even though Fury wasn't that impressive himself, he weren't throwing no shots, but I think he was banking on Dillian White's feet getting even slower and then whacking him, and that's what happened. That fight, though, with Usyk, he whacked you upside your head, man, and your eyes were spinning. Yeah, and I think this is the problem. When people are told this guy doesn't have no power, he can't punch, and then you get in there. It's a bit like Floyd, to be fair. There's a few men who stuck its spark on Floyd. De La Hoya being one of them, but Carrot Top didn't want to come storming in, did he? Carrot Top did not want to come storming in. So people say Floyd can't punch. No one really. Pacquiao didn't want to wade in. Pacquiao did not want to wade right in. He didn't. He was posturing and faffing around a lot of the time. De La Hoya did that. Maidana to some extent. De La Hoya was the best. De La Hoya beat Floyd's ass. That's the only guy who really just came spark on him. Didn't give him no respect because he was so charged up. And that really shows what a psychological... or what difference. We know it's cliche. Psychological things make a difference. And if you got... in reality, you got to be in there. De La Hoya was in there to prove a point. I believe... obviously, he got tired. And cardio does make mice of all men. But he was... I've never seen someone... he was in there just thrashing away. Just spinning his wheels, just trying to get hands on Floyd. No one's really done that. They give Floyd time and he's able to just slap your head off and whatever else. Anyway, the point I'm making is, if you go in there, bang on it, it's going to make you a hard night. Look at Dubois. Look at all the times Dubois went in there and he's half on it. No good, right? He ends up, not no good, but he gets boxed up by Usyk and he goes life and death with Joe Joyce, etc., etc. He flicks that switch in his mind and it's completely changed. He's gone from a world title contender to now people are saying he can knock Usyk out. I'm saying that. No, I don't think I'm not sure he'll knock Usyk out, but I won't be surprised if he beats Usyk. It's a close fight. It's not a 100% chance Dubois is going to win, but I got Dubois 60% favourite, bottom line at this point. Too young. Usyk's getting older every month that passes by. Dubois is like 27, he ain't even peaked yet. He's still going up. His stock is still going up, right? He went 10 rounds with Miller, 8 rounds with Hrgovic, and then 5 rounds. He's getting better. Not the argument. And AJ was supposed to be better than Hrgovic. So he's fighting better competition and smoking them more expeditiously. So Usyk get popped, I believe. I'd bet on. No, listen, if Usyk beat him again, fair play to Usyk, but I'd have to back Dubois on that. That's the truth here. Anyway, what we're talking about here is the mindset. And Usyk says there, Fury says he's having fun, but did he look like he was having fun in there? I don't think so. He looked to me like he was running for his life, if I'm honest. Especially in them early rounds. Especially, it doesn't matter. Early rounds or late rounds, he looked like he wasn't comfortable at all. And that's why his wheels fell off after 6 rounds. He's used to heavyweights getting slower in the back half. Wilder, for example. Wilder was half in the third fight for the first 6 rounds. He gets tired and Fury has more... Fury was less tired than Wilder, so he looked better. But with Usyk, he had more gas than Tyson. So Tyson starts slowing down. Usyk slowed down, but to a lesser extent. and the rest is history. Usyk, no doubt, fact, in the back third, in the last 4 rounds, he finished a lot stronger than Fury did on average. Anyway, the point I'm making, you hear Usyk there, and I believe him. He says, I love it when the lights go on and I'm fighting. I'm asking you now, Tyson Fury fans, are you 100% sure that Tyson loves it when them lights go on? I'm thinking about De La Hoya as well. Usyk's already been telling you, I'm going to be sparking. Usyk tastes something now. He's tasted something in Fury. And what he tasted isn't a hard fight. Fury's come out himself. Yeah? After the first fight, he came out himself and said, yep, I can't win by decision. I need to knock this guy out. And as we've got closer, he's backed away from that. Oh, actually, I just realised I can actually win keeping it easy. And I remember, obviously, I never got to these man's level, but I remember when I was finished in my sport, yeah, and your mind would play weird tricks on you. You'd think, oh, I can find an easy way to do this. Because the hard way, at my peak, for example, I understood that this is going to be hard. I've got to get in there. It's going to be hard from the very start to the very end. Got to squeeze all the juice out. That's what you call squeezing all the juice out. When you're finished psychologically, you don't want to go to that nasty place having to squeeze every little last drop out. So you think to yourself, you convince yourself, oh well, I'll start easy and then I'll build up to it. It never comes. It never comes like that. You have to be red hot on it. Again, like Dubois. Yeah, I argue Dubois went in there building up with Usyk. Oh, I'll get in there, have a look and box a bit. It just doesn't work, I'm afraid. If De La Hoya had got in there with Floyd and said, I'll have a look and just box a bit, he'd have lost 10 rounds instead of making it a close fight. Fact. Look at Canelo. When Canelo got in there with Floyd, he looked to me like a dude who was like, oh, I'm going to box a Floyd. I'm just going to, you know what I mean, give him a whole bunch of time. It looked bad. Got his head boxed right the way off. Overwhelming aggression is valuable. Bottom line. Now you can be really aggressive and still be boxing. What you can't be though is mentally finished and looking for an easier way. Oh, I don't really want to stick it on him and knock him out. I want to just do what I did a bit more last time. It's like, whoa, that's not the right mindset. And it's easy to say now when you're not in there. What happens after 6 rounds? And you've been thinking to yourself, oh, well, it's, you know what I mean? After 6 rounds and you're gassed again. You need to have that mindset where you've already explained to yourself, this is it now. We're here now. Daniel Dubois versus Joe Joyce. Yeah? Martin, his trainer, said to him, we're here now, Danny. We're here now. This is the fight game now. And Danny didn't want nothing to do with it at that point in time, right? Now Danny does. It's a hard thing to do, obviously, but at this level in the game, it's what's required. And I believe Usyk, not only is he ready, he's telling you, he's done it before as well. He's going in there with a man who's 40 pounds heavier, and he was spark on him. He's not even a pressure fighter like that. He was all over Tyson Fury, all over him. Didn't leave him alone. And he's now telling you, he doesn't like training much, but he loves to get in there. And I believe Fury's lost that. There was a time Fury had pride and actually liked performing. I don't think he does. And this is because he does some goofy like, oh, I'm showing off. That doesn't mean he's actually enjoying it in there. It does not mean that he's enjoying it in there. I'll tell you fights where Tyson Fury enjoyed it. The Steve Cunningham fight, for example. Even though he got put down, his body language changed. He gets put down. He's not like, oh, he had some fight in him is the point. He understood I might go down and get up and I fight hard. Against Mbongo, for example, Tyson Fury was in there with Mbongo, right? 10-1 favourite. When he gets put down, does he do anything? No, he does not. He's trigger shy. Despite being the innate boxer and he's in there with a wrestler. He's trigger shy. He didn't go in there. He didn't get put down by Mbongo and then stick it on him. He was cautious, and that is probably one of the first things to go with not only age, with an aging fighter, but also a finished fighter. Age ain't gonna help. No one's more aggressive at 35 than they are at 25, for example, generically speaking. But psychologically, you can be hungry at 30 if you're still broke and you haven't achieved what you wanted to. Fury's already told you he's doing it for the money. Doing it for the money, yeah, don't help you fight hard after 6 rounds when you're goosed and you got nothing left, does it? because you're getting paid either way, and that's what you tend to see. And we've witnessed that. Fury's arguably losing against Ngannou. There's no effort there. Oh, he wasn't fit. That's a cool excuse. I think that Wilder 3 fight was probably the last time we're going to see. Don't forget as well the narrative. Oh, Fury comes straight forward now, he's Kronk. What happened to that? I'll tell you where that went. That went with being a finished fighter. Fury, no doubt, in the Wilder 2 fight, he'd just come back from retirement. He had something to prove, and he had the bit between his teeth. Fair play to him. He went in there, stuck it on Wilder. The Wilder 3 fight, fine. But in the last few years, in Bongo and Usyk, he ain't got it no more, I don't believe. I really don't think it's it is a switch. I don't believe it's a switch that Fury is going to push, is the point I'm making. He could give it one last go, but I don't think it's likely. He doesn't have it. He doesn't have that risk-taking ability anymore. Yeah, when Ngannou was in front of him, he just couldn't pull the trigger, bottom line. He had to box his way through that. He couldn't do it. He couldn't commit for whatever reason. And the same with the Usyk fight, to be honest. Yeah, he got a good few pot shots in, but when someone's running at you all night with their hands up by their head like this, you're going to get a few pot shots off. This is what it is. Like Caleb Plant will hit Canelo with a few pot shots. You know what I mean? Like there's no medals for it really, if we're honest. Especially even more so in Tyson Fury's situation, because he's got about 5 inches in height and 40 pounds in weight. So you'd like to think if a small man's running at you, you're able to pot shot him. It's not like Fury was having the Lennox Lewis performance where he just completely negated what Usyk was doing. Fury did the bare minimum last time to even stay in the fight with a man 40 pounds lighter. And that's why I say, I think Usyk needs to be not careful, but I think Usyk can win prettier this time. That first fight was close. I had him winning by a round or two. Well, 2 rounds, including it. With the knockdown, he won by 2 rounds. But I think, reading between the lines here, Usyk loves being in there. He's not just saying it. He loves being in there. He can't wait to be all over you. Fury doesn't want none of them things. Fury's talking himself. That's what he's been doing the last 6 months. He's been talking himself out of a hard fight, which is what I believe people. Even if I tell you, I think Dubois is going to beat Usyk, I'll never tell you. One thing I'll never tell you about beating Usyk, I will never, unless your name is Muhammad Floyd Mayweather, Artur Imad Beterbiev. Yeah, the reincarnation of all 3 of them fighters into one. Maybe that guy, I might say, he might be able to beat Usyk easy. I'm telling you now, Daniel Dubois, Martin Bakole, whoever you want, I do not believe, essentially anyone in heavyweight boxing today, I do not believe you can beat Usyk easy, if that makes sense. You're not going to go in there and have a look, and you're not going to do like a Joe Parker versus Wilder on Usyk. That's what you call an easy boxing win. No one's going to do that ever. You can forget about that. The way you're going to have to beat Usyk is going to be the hardest night of your life. Fact. Yeah. That's what it's going to be, a hard slog. You're going to be gassed after 6 rounds and you're only going to be halfway. That's what it will require. Now, Fury is deluded because he had the whole infrastructure backing him. The fact that it was only a round in it kind of thing. Or he got a draw. I think he won. Yeah, he got a winner 1 scorecard and something like that. Or 1 was a draw or whatever it was. He thinks in his mind it was close. And I guess you can argue, well, it could be half rigged again. But it's still the wrong mindset. Even if Fury does go in there and he wins 4 rounds like Canelo and gets the decision, he's still lost though, ultimately. You've still lost. I don't care what no one said. I'll tell you if you lost or not, right? So, I mean, why would you want to do that for? Who wants to be on the end of winning 4 rounds and nicking it by a moody decision? Yeah? Who wants to win 4 rounds and then nick it because Dan the Man Kinahan is part of the UAE establishment? Yeah, you got to go in there, bang on your job. Yeah, whatever you do, even if you're on the back foot, you got to be spiteful with it. And that's what Fury wasn't doing. He was kind of stabbing out and pulling back. He was scared to death. He was scared to death. He was scared to death in there, man. And it's a real fall from, I don't know what that shill Sugar Hill doing? He's supposed to be the Kronk. Why is he running backwards all the time? That's not the Kronk. That's not the Kronk. There was nothing stiff, really. Yeah, he put a few pot shot uppercuts in there to the body and to the head, but there was few and far between. There was no real consistency. There was no consistent effort. Fury looked to me like he was nicking rounds, which is something a finished fighter tries to do. A finished fighter don't go in there looking to do someone some serious harm. You're the plumber from Liverpool, right? They don't do that. They like, oh, it's all, what's the word? Defense first or whatever. I've rambled on for too long already, people. I've only got to the first point. Anyway, let's move on. How long have we been talking for? 15 minutes. Wow. Anyway.
And so far in this one, the volume is coming from Tyson Fury, but the accuracy at this stage is with Usyk. And boxing on the outside, nice and slick, but now he's trapped in the corner. And just cuffs Usyk round the side of the head and wanders off.
So here we are in the fourth round. Some people seem to think that you were in control. How did you feel coming into like a third of the fight, going 4 rounds down?
I thought it was going good. I thought it was a good fight up until this point. Good styles make good fights, and it's a clash of style. Left-handed versus right-handed. He's coming forward, I'm boxing.
A better fight than some people expected.
Yes, for sure. He lived up to all the expectations. This round he was hurt. Watch these 2 big rig uppercuts.
Good solid shot. Usyk took it well, but that's a peach of a punch from Tyson Fury.
Can't tell me this never hurt him.
That looks like a good body shot, Alexander, I must admit.
Yeah, of course. Good body shot.
But you expect it?
Yes.
There's an uppercut, what a shot!
Damn.
Could you sense that hurt him, Tyson?
Yes.
Be careful.
Big shots.
Move. Yeah.
No?
No, Phil.
Didn't hurt you in that round? Did he hurt you at all? Were you surprised by that? Did you think he would hurt you?
Nah.
Now, you can argue you've become a Usyk bisexual to some extent over Fury, but I tend to believe Alexander. Because what we do know is, what's important here, when we're talking about, who hurt who, a lot of it is determined, in my opinion, on ring generalship. Yeah, so Fury popped Usyk, he took a few back steps, and half a minute later he's back on it. That's not someone who's hurt and then felt something. We've seen fighters feel something before and not want nothing to do with it. Fury was the one who came out, and we know Fury's strategy was to run straight through Usyk. He ran to the middle of the ring and then ran straight backwards. Yeah, if you plan to be on the back foot, you could just start on the ropes, and that's what he did. He spent the whole fight on the ropes, just ranking off on there. Because you don't really want to get into the nitty-gritty of it, unfortunately, people. He does not. Again, the Ngannou fight, we've seen it. The Usyk fight, we've seen it. It's unparalleled in Fury's career to go down and not want to have a fight. He didn't want to fight with Usyk. He didn't want to fight with Mbongo. Even more so in Mbongo. Why? His feet are slow. Mbongo's feet are slow. So why would you not want to give it to him? Oh, he wasn't trained. Okay, whatever. There's always some excuse with this guy. But anyway, my point is, I don't think Fury did hurt Usyk like that. I think Fury, you notice Fury's like, yeah, that got him. He don't believe that. Tyson don't believe that. If Tyson believed he really rocked Usyk, he'd be saying, guess what? I'm going in there and I'm just winging uppercuts. And the first uppercut that hits him, he's going to be knocked out this time. I've dialed him in now. Yeah? I'm going in there throwing uppercuts only. I'm going to catch him, he's getting knocked out this time. He ain't saying that. He's saying, oh, well, I'll dial it in a bit more, a bit to the left, a little bit to the left, and this time I'm gonna do the same performance as the May fight, but a little bit more. Come on, man, that's non-committal. Meanwhile, Usyk saying, despite Usyk was so rocked, Usyk saying, I'm doing exactly what I did before, coming straight at you. A fighter like Usyk's name isn't Derek Chisora, right? He's not someone who has to come right at you. So for Usyk to come right at you in the first fight and to do it again, I believe, he hasn't felt nothing, right? Because if Usyk was scared, he could easily say, there's a good chance, I'd argue probably an equal chance. If Usyk came out just to box with Tyson, there's an equal chance he could win that anyway, right? If Usyk came out just to box like he normally does historically, he might win that fight the same way he might win if he goes straight at him. And on that note, I'd actually argue, I think Usyk, I've been saying for a while, but I do think Usyk shouldn't get carried away. Again, he can win going straight at Fury again. Pressure bust pipes. But I wouldn't mind seeing Usyk be a little bit more strategic. What I know for a fact is Fury is going to be so slow after 6 rounds. It happened last time. And he's only getting older. And he's only been rocked more. Yeah, he's only more psychologically doesn't want to do this no more. Usyk goes in there, which is what he traditionally does. Usyk goes in there, wins 2 or 3 of the first 6. Just nicking rounds. Let Fury burn himself out. Because Fury's only dangerous. Not even dangerous. Well, it showed in the first fight. Fury only did anything worthwhile in round 5 and 6, essentially. After that point, he was finished. The problem was, Usyk had spent so much energy charging at him. Usyk wasn't able to be as prolific as he normally is. Normally by round 8-9, he's just getting started. In that fight though, he was goosed himself. So I don't think there's a whole bunch of point in Usyk doing something that's not his natural thing in the early rounds. I'd like to see Usyk go in there, like I said, box with Tyson. Because Tyson's never... People say he's had a great gas tank. What's the Vlad fight? That stunk after 6 rounds. And even before 6 rounds. But they was both knackered in there. People rant and rave about it. Or the Wilder fight. Wilder 3. Fury looked good because Wilder was finished. Had nothing left. He was gassed himself. But Fury, he slows down bigly. This narrative of, he's got gas for days. I just don't buy into it, I'm afraid. Especially now, I just don't buy into it. So you used to go in there. The first few rounds, just let Fury tick away that gas tank. And to be quite frank, who even knows? Usyk might be able to win 4 of the first 6 just boxing. It's weird because it's not Usyk's normal way of doing things. Maybe it's because Tyson Fury is taller and he doesn't want to have that. Well, I mean, he's going to be at a disadvantage coming forward as well. I'm trying to think what it's worse to do. If you're smaller, is it worse to come at someone? Or try and... Well, Usyk's good enough, though. If anyone can pull off the boxing thing. Usyk didn't come wading in at AJ, right? He boxed his head off. Yeah. So, and AJ is not as tall as Fury, but we're talking inches here. We're talking inches. But Fury can't punch like AJ either. So it's one of them ones. I'd like to see Usyk. Because we haven't seen that. I don't really want to see 24 rounds of Usyk just coming straight forward. I wouldn't mind seeing a few rounds in there at least at the start of him boxing with him. And just point scoring kind of thing. Because that's actually that's Usyk's niche. His niche isn't a pressure fighter. So I'm not sure why he hasn't at least tried that. Because he might find out that, I can actually pick rounds up easier than I am having to run forward and take all the risk. Because you can only... There's no way Fury's going to pot shot Usyk as much as he did in the first fight if Usyk's deciding to box with him. Usyk was there to be touched with the uppercut because he was right on top of Fury. If he was nipping in and nipping out like he normally does, I don't think Fury's going to get a look in edgeways. And then into the last half, Fury might win like Tony Bellew. Fury might win the first 4 of 6. But the same way Tony Bellew did, even more so because Tyson Fury's heavier, even more so, Fury will be so slow and Usyk will be getting started. And that's when, if Usyk had something left in them last 3 or 4 rounds, Usyk was goosed as well. He had nothing left. If Usyk had something left like he normally does, look at AJ1, look at AJ2 with Usyk. He's building up. His best rounds are in the last 4. If he's able to adopt that for the rematch, and then in the last 4 or 5, because even in the AJ fights, Usyk wasn't wading straight forward on him in the last few rounds. He'd upped his boxing pace. But Usyk, go in there, man. Box with him for 6-7 rounds. Win 2 or 3 rounds. And in the last 4, when he's Fury fact, he's going to be so slow, you just go straight on him. And I think Usyk would stop him at that point. I don't want Usyk burning all of his gas and not burning it all, but I don't want him having to fight at a really hard pace that isn't natural to him unnecessarily. There's no point trying to compete with someone 6'9" and 270 pounds when they're fresh as well. You want to compete with them when they're slowed down. That's your advantage is speed. And I don't necessarily think Usyk benefits from the speed advantage and the weight advantage. In the early rounds, as I've explained, or B, walking forward. I think, look at people like Tank, Canelo. They tend to break people down late on. The early rounds, they tend to lose. Well, not so much Canelo, actually. He can whack you on the arm a few times in the early rounds. But it takes him time to catch up. Yeah, when you're plodding forward, Tank in particular, Tank plods forward, don't throw much. He's losing all them rounds. But he's wearing them out. My point? What's the point running at Tyson Fury to lose them rounds? Box with him and then put it spark on him down the back straight. Box with him, nick rounds yourself. He'll nick some, you nick some, and then change it up. That'll also be like mind-boggling for Tyson Fury as well. That makes sense. And who knows, maybe Usyk goes in there, yeah, tries to box with Tyson, and then he gets smoked, and he has to go spark forward anyway. The point I'm making, I want to see Usyk do what he normally does, at least for a few rounds out of 24, right? Because that's where he's looked magical. That fight against Tyson Fury, it may have been harder for Usyk than it needed to be, is the point I'm making. He might have overfought himself, even though he won. He might have made it too hard. He's trying to be too much of a warrior early on, if that makes sense. That's not his DNA to move forward like with his hands up. Anyway, let me know your thoughts. Smash the like button, subscribe, like off the bell, 100%. There's no doubt about this one. People stop it.